Notes on contributors. Kelly Ann Allen, Ph.D. is an educational and developmental psychologist, senior lecturer at Monash University, and a senior honorary fellow of the University of Melbourne. She is currently a director of the Global Belonging Collaborative, editor-in-chief of the Educational and Developmental Psychologist and co-editor-in-chief of the Journal of Belonging and Human Connection. Ricardo Argms Ray is a teacher of special education, psychologist and doctor in education. He combines his current work as a remedial teacher in a state secondary school, with his activity as a lecturer and consultant in the field of positive education, both in Spain and abroad. He collaborates with various universities as an invited lecturer and has delivered numerous lectures and workshops. In July 2019, he received the Positive Educator Impact Award, IPPA's 6th World Congress on Positive Psychology, Melbourne, Australia, in recognition of the impact of his long-standing work in the dissemination and application of positive education internationally. Gökmen Arslan, Ph.D. is an associate professor and lecturer at Burdur Mehmet Akif Ersoy University in Burdur, Turkey. His research interests are broadly focused on developing and validating measurement and intervention methods for promoting well-being and mental health in schools. Lisa M. Baker has been a teacher and learner in the field of early childhood education for over 30 years. She holds a Bachelor of Education, specializing in early childhood, a Master's of Applied Positive Psychology, MAPP, and 3 decades of professional erudition, action research and practitioner inquiry. Lisa has a breadth of knowledge and experience in education and understands childhood as a critical time for development, learning and well-being. Lisa's writing and presentations, highlighting synergies between the fields of early childhood, well-being science and nature pedagogy, combine evidence, theory and strategy for educators. Ronald A. Baguetto, Ph.D. is the Pinnacle West Presidential Chair and Professor for the Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College at Arizona State University. He is editor for the Journal of Creative Behavior, book series editor for Creative Theory and Action in Education, creativity advisor for the LEGO Foundation, and an APA Fellow. Dr. Tom Brunzel, MST, EDM, Ph.D. has experience as a teacher, school leader, researcher, and education advisor. Currently, he is the Director of Education at Berry Street and Honorary Fellow at the University of Melbourne Graduate School of Education. Tom presents internationally on topics of transforming school culture, student engagement, trauma-aware practice, well-being and positive psychology, and effective school leadership. His research at the University of Melbourne investigates both the negative impacts of secondary traumatic stress and the positive impacts of well-being on teachers and leaders working towards educational equity in their communities. Ash Buchanan is an educator, collaborator, and well-being practitioner living in Melbourne, Australia. His work is informed by a love for the natural world and for creating intimate spaces where we can be in relationship with ourselves, others, and our kinship with the living Earth community. He is a student of a number of restorative and regenerative practices, including Theory U, collective healing, social process, systems leadership, co-design, mindfulness, and yoga. He is the founder of Cohere, a well-being design agency, and leads an action research initiative called Benefit Mindset, which supports schools and organizations with making a transformative contribution in the world. Kim Cameron, Ph.D. is the William Russell Kelly Professor of Management and Organizations in the Ross School of Business and Professor of Higher Education in the School of Education at the University of Michigan. He is a co-founder of the Center for Positive Organizations at the University of Michigan. Covadonga Chaves, Ph.D. is an Assistant Professor of Psychology at the Complutense University of Madrid. She completed a doctorate in experimental clinical psychology at Complutense University of Madrid, 2013, and held a master's degree in clinical and health psychology, 2009. She was a visiting scholar at the University of Connecticut in 2013. Her work got the 2015 International Positive Psychology Association, IPPA, award to the best dissertation. From 2014 to 2016 she was the research director of the Institute of Happiness at Tecmilenio University, Mexico. She has published articles in academic journals, Journal of Happiness Studies, Journal of Health Psychology. Song Hyeon Cheon, Ph.D. is an associate professor in the Department of Physical Education at Korea University, South Korea. He received his Ph.D. from Korea University. Dr. Chian's research interests center on the empirical study of all aspects of human motivation with a particular emphasis on teachers' motivating styles and students' motivation and engagement during learning activities. He has published 40 articles on motivation in journals such as the Journal of Educational Psychology and Learning and Instruction. Dr. Tan Xuan Chin, Ph.D. is Senior Research Fellow and Director of the Wellbeing Profiler at the Centre for Wellbeing Science at the University of Melbourne. Tan Chaiwan's research examines the enablers and contextual factors of what contributes to optimal and sustained well-being over the lifespan. She specializes in multi-method approaches of measuring well-being for program evaluation, using a combination of established and innovative techniques across physiological, psychological and behavioral experience sampling methods. Collectively, her work highlights the use of comprehensive, innovative yet considered approaches to conceptualizing, measuring, and understanding complex concepts such as well-being. Dr. Gillian Copley, Ed.D., serves as President and CEO of Meyerson Academy, a nonprofit dedicated to transforming individual, team, and organizational performance. During her tenure, the Academy has grown from a local professional learning provider to an international leader in the field of strengths-based programs. Ma's work to transform cultures has engaged more than 150 organizations and K-16 education institutions across the United States and beyond. Dr. Copley has been invited to speak in China, New Zealand, Australia, Mexico, Canada, United Arab Emirates, and Ma's work has been featured in numerous publications including EdWeek, Live Happy, and U.S. News & World Report. Heather Craig is currently a Ph.D. candidate enrolled at Monash University, in the School of Public Health and Preventive Medicine. With a particular interest in positive psychology, Heather is currently completing research into the association between optimism and health outcomes in elderly Australians. Jan Deans, Ph.D. is the director of the Early Learning Centre, which is the University of Melbourne's research and demonstration preschool. She is a longtime advocate for teaching and learning through the arts and has worked both locally and internationally in early childhood, primary, tertiary, and special education settings. Ilaria Di Maggio, Ph.D. is a research fellow at the Department of Philosophy, Sociology, Pedagogy and Applied Psychology at Padua University, a psychologist, and postgraduate degree in career counseling at the University of Padova. Since 2013 she has collaborated with the RIOS Laboratory of Research and Intervention in Vocational Guidance, and with the University Center for Disability and Inclusion, University of Padua. She is a member of the Italian Society for Vocational Guidance, SIO, and a member of the European Society for Vocational Designing and Career Counseling. Her research interests concern the fields of career counseling and disability. Daniela Filetsky is the founder of Teacher Wellbeing, known as the Keep It Real Teacher. Specializing in positive psychology and coaching psychology with more than 20 years' experience in government and independent schools in Australia. Daniela has a Master's in Education, Leadership, a Bachelor of Education, HPE, a certificate in Rudolf Steiner Education, is a licensed mental toughness practitioner, certified life coach and NLP practitioner and member of the International Coach Federation and International Positive Psychology Association. Daniela has lectured at Sydney University and Western Sydney University where she was named Lecturer of the Year 2014. Jacqueline J. Francis is a Ph.D. candidate at the Centre for Wellbeing Science, CWS, at the University of Melbourne's Graduate School of Education. Jackie has a Bachelor of Behavioural Science, Bachelor of Teaching, and a Master of Education. Jackie has extensive experience teaching in primary schools in the UK and Australia. She is currently part of the teaching team and works as a research assistant at the CWS. Her studies inquire into planning for, developing and measuring effective online positive psychology interventions. Her passion is for well-being, and for finding pathways for greater access equity to the language, knowledge, and skills of well-being. Erica Frydenberg, AM, Ph.D. is an educational, clinical and organizational psychologist who has practiced extensively in the Australian educational setting. She is a Principal Research Fellow and Associate Professor in Psychology at the Melbourne Graduate School of Education. She has authored and co-authored over 150 academic journal articles and chapters in the field of coping. Maria Cristina Ginevra, Ph.D. is a researcher at the Department of Philosophy, Sociology, Education and Applied Psychology, University of Padova, where she teaches psychology of career guidance. She collaborates with the La Rios Laboratory for Research and Intervention in Vocational Designing and Career Counseling, at the University of Padova. She is a member of the board of the Italian Society for Vocational Guidance, SIO, and a full member of the European Society for Vocational Designing and Career Counseling. Research activities concern the fields of career guidance and psychology of disability and inclusion. Dr. Susie Green, Ph.D. is a clinical and coaching psychologist, MAPS, and founder and CEO of the Positivity Institute, a positively deviant organization dedicated to the research and application of positive psychology for life, school and work. Susie lectured on applied positive psychology at the University of Sydney for 10 years and is an honorary vice president of the International Society for Coaching Psychology. Susie is an honorary visiting professor at the University of East London and holds honorary positions at the University of Melbourne, the Wellbeing Institute, Cambridge University, and the Black Dog Institute. Jack Gregg is a facilitator, writer, and teacher in the service of equity and well-being between people, communities, and the planet. He is a senior trainer at Berry Street, an Australian child and family services organization, and a facilitator with the Benefit Mindset Project. Jack's approach to research and practice is relational and compassionate. He pays attention to the evolving spaces between, integrating insights from diverse areas, including education, trauma, well-being, ecology, and systems change. Dr. David Hanson, Ph.D. is Associate Professor and Chair of Educational Psychology at the University of Kansas. He completed his doctorate, 2001, and postdoctorate experience, 2001 to 2007, at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. A developmental scientist with an applied research focus, his expertise is on adolescent development and learning in a variety of out-of-school settings, including the full range of organized youth activities, e.g., extracurricular, community-based programs. Dr. Hanson is particularly invested in understanding how adolescents from impoverished communities learn real-world skills and competencies needed for adult life and citizenship, such as strategic planning, initiative, teamwork, and leadership. Aaron Jardin, Ph.D. is an associate professor and the director of the Masters of Applied Positive Psychology, MAPP, program at the Melbourne Graduate School of Education, University of Melbourne. He is a well-being consultant, social entrepreneur, has multiple qualifications in philosophy, computing, education, and psychology, and is a prolific author and presenter. He is the past president of the New Zealand Association of Positive Psychology, a co-editor of the International Journal of Wellbeing, lead investigator for the International Wellbeing Study, and senior scientist for work on well-being among others. Dr. Rebecca Jardin, Ph.D. has been nursing 20 years in critical care across a variety of roles in the nursing team, most recently as an associate charge nurse manager, a flight nurse, and a quality portfolio manager. Currently Rebecca is a lecturer and a researcher with the University of Melbourne Department of Nursing. Her ongoing research collaborations include student and nurse well-being, work well-being, and mental health. Paul E. Jose, Ph.D. is a professor of psychology at Victoria University of Wellington. He teaches and performs research on topics in methodology and statistics, e.g., statistical mediation and moderation, as well as topics in developmental, personality, cross-cultural, and clinical psychologies. Much of his current work concerns the role of emotion regulation for positive psychological constructs. For example, a recent paper published in the Journal of Positive Psychology shows that amplifying savoring positively predicts an increase in reports of everyday positive life events over time, termed uplift generation. Mohsen Joshenlu, Ph.D. is a cross-cultural psychologist, working as an associate professor of psychology at Keimyung University in South Korea. His research focuses on well-being, culture, and measurement. He has published widely on cultural aspects of mental well-being using data from countries across 5 continents. He advocates a decentralized and pluralistic approach to the social sciences and is committed to an increased consideration of the diversity of human experience across cultural groups. Website: https://mohsenjoshenlu.weebly.com. Dr. Margaret L. Kern, Ph.D., also known as Peggy, is an associate professor at the Centre for Wellbeing Science at the University of Melbourne's Graduate School of Education. Her research examines questions around who thrives in life and why, including understanding and measuring healthy functioning, identifying individual and social factors impacting life trajectories, and systems-informed approaches to well-being. She works with schools and workplaces to examine strategies for supporting well-being and bridging gaps between research and practice. She has published 3 books and over 100 peer-reviewed articles and chapters. You can find out more about Dr. Kern's work at https://www.peggykern.org. Dr. Sylvia Kwok, Ph.D. is an associate professor in the Department of Social and Behavioral Sciences at the City University of Hong Kong. Her research focuses on the family ecological and positive psychological factors related to the mental health and well-being of children and adolescents. She has collaborated with over 300 local schools to promote positive education for students, parents, teachers, and the community. Positive education is also extended to the social welfare agencies, including elderly services, school social work services, children and youth services, services for students with special education needs, service for ex-mentally ill patients in halfway houses, and corporates. More can be found at http://www.cityu.edu.hk/ss_pose. Clive Leach is an organizational coach who has worked extensively with schools in many parts of the world on the development and implementation of well-being strategies and the application of interventions drawing on both positive psychology and coaching psychology. A graduate of the Master of Organizational Coaching program at the University of Sydney, Clive was the lead author on the chapter, The Integration of Coaching and Positive Psychology in Education, in Coaching in Professional Contexts, Sage, 2016. He is also a visiting lecturer teaching on the world's first MSc. Applied Positive Psychology and Coaching Psychology, MAPPCP, at the University of East London. Met Marie Ledertaug, M.A., Ph.D. in Educational Psychology and Positive Psychology and currently postdoc in Positive Education at Aarhus University, Denmark. Met has 20 years of practical experience within the field of education, and she has published articles and books focusing on strength-based learning, engagement, resilience and well-being, and she has recently co-authored the book The Battle Against Boredom in Schools. Met is currently a WP leader and mental health expert in the Upright Project, EU. She is also a member of IPPA Positive Education Division organizing and facilitating events and conferences. Young-Sun Lee, Ph.D. is a professor in the Department of Education at Inha University in South Korea. She earned her doctoral degree in special education with an emphasis in self-determination and transition to adulthood from the University of Kansas. Dr. Lee's research focuses on self-determination and quality of life technology for people with disabilities, specifically young adults with ASD and IDD. She has received grant funding from several sources, including the National Research Foundation of Korea and Korean Ministry of Education. She is the editor of the Journal of the Korean Association for Persons with Autism. Rachel Liang, Med. Sci. is an honorary research fellow at the Melbourne Graduate School of Education, the University of Melbourne, where she works across several research projects including the coordination of the Early Years Coping Project from 2011 to the present. She also works as a registered psychologist at an independent school, K-12, in Melbourne. Reverend Dr. Theo D. McCall, Ph.D. is the school chaplain of St. Peter's College, Adelaide, and the senior chaplain for Anglican schools in South Australia. He is a board member of St. Barnabas College, Adelaide, and adjunct lecturer at Charles Sturt University. He is keenly interested in the dialogue between systematic theology and positive psychology, particularly from the practical perspective of delivering chaplaincy services and religious and values education lessons. In 2013, Theo attended a meeting in Canterbury of spiritual leaders and psychologists, and he co-edited the meeting proceedings in the book, being called. He has presented and run workshops on well-being widely. Faye McCallum, Ph.D. is head of the School of Education and a professor of education at the University of Adelaide. She has worked in higher education for 30 years across Australia. Faye's research interests include well-being education, attraction, retention, and sustainability of teachers in rural areas, education policy and systems, and initial teacher education. She has published extensively with over 100 publications. Her research has been cited in the 2019 Global Happiness and Well-Being Policy Reports tabled at the World Government Summit in Dubai. Faye is an expert consultant to the OECD on teacher well-being. Jessica L. Morse is a Ph.D. student in the Counseling Psychology program at Colorado State University. She is currently completing her internship in health psychology at the Phoenix VA. Her research focuses on exploring how two existential factors, meaning in life and tolerance of uncertainty, affect people's psychosocial and physiological health in the context of stressors and life transitions, as well as on developing strengths-based preventative health interventions that target meaning in life and tolerance of uncertainty. Ryan M. Nemec, Sci.D., is a leading figure in global education, research, and practice of character strengths. He is the Education Director of the VIA Institute on Character. Ryan is an award-winning psychologist, certified coach, and annual instructor at the University of Pennsylvania, and author of 10 books, 90-plus academic papers, and several hundred user-friendly articles. Ryan has been interviewed by a number of luminaries and given over 800 presentations across the globe, including a TEDx talk, a speaking tour of Australia, a Harvard conference keynote. He is a fellow of the International Positive Psychology Association and serves on their Council of Advisors. Laura Noda, Ph.D. is professor at the Department of Philosophy, Sociology, Education and Applied Psychology, University of Padova. She is delegate of the Rector for Disability. She teaches career construction and career counseling and psychological counseling for the inclusion of social disadvantage. She is the director of the La Rios Laboratory at the University of Padova. She is a member of the Life Design International Research Group of the Career Adaptability International Collaborative Group. Research activities concern the fields of career counseling and psychology of disability and inclusion. Dr. Maeve B. O'Donnell, Ph.D. is a postdoctoral scholar with the Palliative Care and Resilience Research Team at Seattle Children's Hospital. She received her Ph.D. in counseling psychology from Colorado State University and completed her behavioral medicine psychology residency at the University of Washington School of Medicine in 2019. Her research interests lie at the intersection of positive psychology and behavioral medicine, including a focus on bolstering resilience and fostering meaning-making for pediatric patients with chronic disease and their families. Dr. Lindsay G. Odes, Ph.D. is an internationally acclaimed well-being public policy strategist, researcher, and author. As director and professor at the Centre for Wellbeing Science, at the University of Melbourne, Australia's #1 university, he leads a growing and dynamic team of researchers and educators who promote and investigate how people learn to improve well-being in education, health, organizations, and communities. As a sought-after speaker, known to provoke thought, he has given keynote or invited presentations in Australia, Canada, China, Hong Kong, Japan, Mexico, New Zealand, Taiwan, United Arab Emirates, and the United Kingdom. Nana Parup, M.A. in Positive Psychology, Master of Science in Economics and Business Administration, founder of Solvit APS and www.scolaconsulenter.dk. Her passion is learning. She is a co-author of The Battle Against Boredom in Schools and has published several books on how to engage students. Nana provides teachers training, focusing on classroom management, teamwork and professional learning communities. Nana was part of the organizing committee and facilitating the IPP-AID pre-conference in Budapest in 2018. Nana is an editor of the journal Cognition and Pedagogic and is constantly searching for new ways to involve, engage, and motivate students, teachers and staff. Dr. Denise Quinlan, Ph.D. is a founding director of the New Zealand Institute of Wellbeing and Resilience, a senior adjunct fellow at the University of Canterbury, and a published academic researcher. Trained in well-being science at the University of Pennsylvania, she attained her Ph.D. in psychological well-being from the University of Otago. She has taught global business leaders and educators around the world how to use well-being science for peak performance and well-being. Dr. Quinlan is acknowledged nationally and internationally as an outstanding presenter and facilitator. Denise's work supports the well-being of hundreds of schools around NZ. Dr. Sue Rafi, Ph.D. is a psychologist, academic, and social activist, and acknowledged international authority on school and student well-being. She is currently an honorary associate professor at University College, London and Western Sydney University and director of Growing Great Schools Worldwide. Sue is a prolific author, having written many books and other publications on issues related to well-being, especially behavior, relationships and social, emotional learning. Her most recent book is the co-authored Creating the World We Want to Live In: How Positive Psychology Can Build a Brighter Future, Routledge, 2021. Daniel Romer, Ph.D. is the research director of the Annenberg Public Policy Center at the University of Pennsylvania, where he has worked since 1998. His research focuses on social and personal influences on the healthy development of adolescents, especially the role of the media, family, schools, and peers as socializing agents. He has edited 6 books that identify strategies to promote the mental and behavioral well-being of adolescents and has proposed the lifespan wisdom model of adolescent development as a counter to the view that adolescent risky behavior is the result of an imbalanced brain. Professor Tammy Ronan, Ph.D. is the former Dean of Faculty of Social Sciences and the head of the Renata Adler Memorial Research Center for Child Welfare and Protection in Tel Aviv University. She was the previous president of the Israeli Association for Behavior and Cognitive Psychotherapies and part of the International Association of Positive Psychology. She is the author of many books and research articles in the area of well-being of children, adolescents, and families. She developed several international projects for reducing aggression by increasing positive affect and self-control skills via group therapy, sport, and music with the Israeli Philharmonic. Dr. Peninnah Russo-Netzer, Ph.D. is a researcher, a senior lecturer, author, and speaker. Her main research and practice interests focus on positive psychology, existential psychology, meaning in life, positive change and growth, and spiritual development. Peninnah develops programs and curricula for various organizations on these topics and is the head of the education department at Akva Academic College. She is also the head of the Compass Institute for the Study and Application of Meaning, and the founder and head of the academic training program for logotherapy in Israel. She published several books as well as scholarly articles and chapters and serves as an academic advisor and consultant to academic and non-academic institutions. Sarah Santilli is a research fellow at the Department of Philosophy, Sociology, Pedagogy, and Applied Psychology at Padua University. She is a psychologist, CBT therapist, and a postgraduate degree in career counseling at the University of Padova. She collaborates also with L'Ario's Laboratory of Research and Intervention in Vocational Guidance. She is vice president of the Italian Society for Vocational Guidance, SIO, and a member of the European Society for Vocational Designing and Career Counseling. Research interest concerns the fields of career counseling, career construction, and workplace inclusion for people with and without a disability. Dr. Nimrod Scheinman, BSc, ND is one of Israel's leading mind-body experts and an international spokesperson advocating holistic and integrative education and mindfulness in education perspectives. He is the founder and director of Israel's Center for Mindfulness in Education, co-founder of Israel's Center for Mind-Body Medicine, and initiator and director of the International Soul of Education Initiative. He is on the International Advisory Panel of the Sagittara Leadership Initiative, a Malaysia-based organization supporting humanistic and well-being programs, locally and globally. Matthew Silver is a doctoral research fellow at University College London. He has researched positive psychology, with a focus on self-determination theory and emotional intelligence, for more than a decade. His writing on the subject utilizes conceptual thought and theoretical insight which focuses on the advancement of leadership and managerial insight and practitioner application, receiving publication within journals including the International Journal of Personal, Social and Emotional Development. Christopher D. Sladen, Ph.D., Department Chair and Associate Professor for the Educational, School and Counseling Psychology Department within the College of Education at the University of Missouri. Dr. Sladen researches the issue of academic belonging and how it impacts career and academic outcomes for marginalized youth and college students. Salvatore Ceresi, Ph.D. is a full professor at the Department of Philosophy, Sociology, Education and Applied Psychology, University of Padua. He has founded the L'Ario's Laboratory and the University Center for Research and Services on Disability, Rehabilitation and Inclusion of the University of Padova. He is also a founder member of the Italian Society of Vocational Guidance, SIO. In 2008 he received an award from the Society of Counseling Psychology, American Psychological Association. Research activities concern the fields of career counseling and psychology of disability and inclusion. Dr. Michael F. Stager, Ph.D. is Professor of Psychology and the Director for the Center for Meaning and Purpose at Colorado State University. His research on meaning and purpose is widely cited, and he is the creator of the most widely used measures of meaning and purpose in the world, the Meaning in Life Questionnaire and the Work and Meaning Inventory. He has published more than 130 peer-reviewed journal articles and book chapters, and 3 books, including Purpose and Meaning in the Workplace and the Handbook of Positivity and Strengths-Based Approaches at Work. Jessica A. Taylor is an educator, action researcher, presenter, and possibilitizer with expertise in well-being and education. Specializing in primary and secondary education, Jessica has worked with schools, organizations, and governments globally to assist them place well-being at the heart of their vision and practice. Advocating that well-being is everyone's responsibility, throughout her research, writing, keynote engagements, and consulting work, she loves igniting new conversations, actions, and ways of being that help bridge the gap often found between research and practice to help people become active stewards in well-being and positive change endeavors. She contributes to the teaching team and research streams at the University of Melbourne Centre for Wellbeing Science, holding a Master of Applied Positive Psychology, MAPP, and Bachelor of Education. Dr. Louise Tidemand, Ph.D. is a Danish pracademic, a practitioner and an academic. Her research focuses on life coping skills, resilience, self-efficacy and well-being in education. Louise is a teacher and educational psychologist, and passionate about transforming research into tangible educational materials for teachers, parents, and students to work within a school or home setting. She educates pedagogical personnel in teaching SEL, character strengths and engaging education, always focusing on how to build playfulness and positive emotions in teaching. Her books and games have received recommendations from the Danish National Board of Health and the Danish Board of Social Services. Evert van de Vliert, Ph.D. is a Professor Emeritus of Organizational and Applied Social Psychology at the University of Groningen in the Netherlands. He has published more than 250 journal articles, chapters, and books including Climate, Affluence, and Culture, Cambridge University Press, 2009. In 2005, he received the Lifetime Achievement Award of the International Association for Conflict Management. His current research concentrates on the geography and ecology of cultures, emphasizing the interactive impact of climate-based demands and wealth-based resources on happiness, creativity, aggression, collectivism versus individualism, and autocratic versus democratic governance and leadership. Website: www.rug.nl/staff/e.van.de.vliert. Diane Avella Broderick, Ph.D. holds the Jerry Higgins Chair in Positive Psychology and is Deputy Director and Head of Research at the Centre for Wellbeing Science, University of Melbourne. Diane's research interests include the development and evaluation of well-being programs using innovative quantitative and qualitative methods. She specializes in working with young people in learning environments. Professor Lee Waters, A.M., Ph.D. is the founding director of the Centre for Positive Psychology, University of Melbourne, where she has held an academic position for 25 years and has 110+ academic publications. Lee sits on the Science Board of the University of California, Berkeley's Greater Good Science Center and is an affiliate at the University of Michigan's Center for Positive Organizations. She is an executive board member and immediate past president of the International Positive Psychology Association. She is the ambassador for the Positive Education Schools Association and was chair of the 6th World Congress of Positive Psychology. Michael L. Wehmeyer, Ph.D. is the Ross and Mariana Beach Distinguished Professor of Special Education, Chair of the Department of Special Education, and Director and Senior Scientist, Beach Center on Disability, all at the University of Kansas. His research has focused on issues pertaining to self-determination, positive psychology, and its application to disability, transition to adulthood, the education and inclusion of students with more extensive support needs, and technology use by people with cognitive disabilities. He has published more than 450 peer-reviewed journal articles and book chapters and is an author or editor on 42 texts. Matthew A. White, Ph.D. is an associate professor and deputy head of the School of Education at the University of Adelaide. He is also a principal fellow in the Melbourne Graduate School of Education. Recent awards include 2020 Distinguished Contribution to Research in Educational Leadership, South Australian Branch Australian Council for Educational Leaders, and the 2020 University of Adelaide Prize for Teaching Excellence. Publications include Future Directions in Wellbeing, Springer, 2017, and Critical Perspectives on Teaching, Learning and Leadership, Springer, 2020. His next book is Wellbeing and Resilience Education, COVID-19 and its Impact on Education Systems, Routledge, 2021.